That reminder. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another live at Mi Escuelita Online Academy. I am going to, first of all, thank you so much for being here. I was planning to go live yesterday and I had to drive all the way to Mesa. So, for those of you who live in Arizona, I live in Avondale and I had to go all the way to Mesa, so super far. Either way, I am so excited that you're here. If you're watching this live, hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. I'm going to take a quick second to make sure that I'm live in our group. Yes, there I am. Awesome. Make sure if you're watching this. Let me lower that down. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here. I wanted to make sure that my mic was working. Hola, Veronica. Hola, Vero. Thank you so much for watching, friends. Happy Thursday. I am excited that you're here. Our topic today is what's the deal with small group tutoring? And doesn't that already happen in schools? Besides, private small group tutoring is super expensive. Well, let's talk. Friends, let's talk about small group tutoring and can you really afford small group tutoring? That's our topic for today. I am going to share my screen with you. Let me share my screen. There we go. Where did my screen go? Is that it? Nope. I think I'll do this. We'll see if that works. Let's see. I'm looking over at my phone to make sure that awesome, that you can see it. Excellent. So again, today we are talking about small group tutoring and the benefits of small group tutoring. Now, here is my friends, and you want to stay to the very end of today's presentation of today's workshop because I am going to be giving out a freebie for our summer learning program that you don't want to miss. So for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, my name is Lina Munoz. I am the CEO, founder, and lead teacher here at Mi Escuelita Online Academy. I've been in the public education field for over 25 years. I was a teacher, a principal, a director, an instructional specialist. I loved every year of it, every moment of it. And during that time, I was able to develop a fail-proof method to ensure that students' learning was catapulted to the next level. And one big component, the main component, is small group learning. So let's talk about that today. So here's my first question for you. How big is your child's classroom? So basically, how many students are in their classroom right now? Now, I asked my children, right, how many kids are in your classroom? And they're actually pretty lucky. They're the little one in kinder has 23 students. The second grader has 25. And the seventh graders have about 28 students, more or less, in their group. So have you asked your child how many students are in their classroom? Okay, so here's my second question. Hi, Marilyn. How many teachers are in the classroom? For the most part, minimum one, right? The classroom teacher. But if the teacher is lucky, sometimes there's a paraprofessional or an instructional aide that goes in there periodically if they're super duper lucky. And then other times there might be maybe a reading specialist that goes in there every once in a while. So classrooms sizes are pretty big. Teachers have a lot of students and a lot of different levels they have to work with. So small group tutoring is basically a way for teachers to provide interventions or provide support for students that are at different levels. Because in one classroom where there's 20 plus students, sometimes even more. There are students that are right at grade level, students that are above grade level, and students that are below grade level. And a teacher has to work with all those levels. So teachers implement small group tutoring to support students at different levels. Now, Education Weekly, a research-based journal or magazine, says that small group tutoring has the largest positive effect and works in all subjects. That's what research says, that of all the support that can be given, that the support or the strategy that has the most positive effect on student learning is small group tutoring, and that it works in all subjects. Small group tutoring helps students learn in all subject areas. Small group tutoring can be customized to the specific needs that a student has, or to help them get to those next levels. Oh, you know what? I wanted to say one more thing about this. Now, so we know that personalized instruction is the single most powerful strategy to respond to that learning loss. And did you know? And I knew this, but this really solidified it for me. In Education Weekly, they said that advantaged parents routinely seek out tutoring for their children during the school year and in the summer. So parents that are well off are constantly looking for tutoring for their children outside of the school system during the school year and in the summer. That was a big for me. Now, here's the other thing that Education Weekly said, was that small group tutoring actually helps students to build a stronger connection with the teacher, because they're seeing them on a consistent basis. So if they see the tutor, 2 to 3 times a week at a specific time, they're more likely to build a connection with them. Because sometimes we think, oh, with small group tutoring, they're not going to get to know the tutor. Actually, they build a strong connection with them because they're in small groups. Oops, I went back a page. So again, personalized learning is the single most powerful intervention for responding to learning loss, and it's routinely sought out by parents. Now, here's the thing. Students have two choices when they're in a big classroom and they're having difficulty. There's gaps in their learning. One, they play school. So they're really good, right? And teachers sometimes don't know that they have a learning loss or that there's a gap, because those students are really quiet. They raise their hand, they echo respond when teachers ask questions. They're the quiet kids, the kids who follow the rules, follow the directions. They know how to play school, so the teacher won't have to call them too much, right? That's one choice that students have. The second choice is they act out. They act out with their behavior, with their emotions. Students that have learning gaps either play school or they act out. Students also who are above what the teacher is teaching play school, like, okay, yes, no, or act out. Small group tutoring provides opportunity for students to practice the current skills that they're working on and succeed with new skills. But here's the thing. If small group tutoring, let me go back before we start talking about the cost, right, of private tutoring. Where did I write it down? Hold on a sec. Okay. Sorry, thank you for letting me gain my thoughts here. Okay. So if teachers already have small group tutoring, why are we saying that they might need private group tutoring outside of the school? Or why do certain parents look for private group tutoring outside of the school setting? Well, the reality is that yes, and I guess maybe it does come with the cost. There is a lot of free tutoring. It occurs in school, right? It's kind of free. We pay, but we do pay our tax money for that. But it's, that's our free tutoring that happens in community centers and schools. But the reality is now teachers are very trained, but not everyone who's administering the small group tutoring is trained. Sometimes they're the individuals who are administering small group tutoring are underpaid, undertrained. They're given large groups. And because of this, it's inconsistent. And friends, quality matters, consistency matters. Now, when it comes to teachers doing the tutoring, absolutely brilliant, beautiful. But the reality is, with everything that a teacher has to do and everything that is on his or her plate, it might not be as consistent as they plan it to be because things happen in school. Teachers are out. They get extra students. Things get canceled. And when that happens, the routine is interrupted and that small group instruction becomes inconsistent. Quality matters. When it comes to tutoring, you want consistency for your children. You want it to be professional from individuals that are trained, that are certified, and that have proven results like Mi Escuelita Online Academy. You want to be able to, for your child, if they are going to go to small group tutoring, for it to be consistent, for it to be planned, for it to be academic, and that you're seeing results. Okay, one more thing. We were going to talk about the cost. Here's my question when it comes to cost. Can you afford this? Can you afford not to sign up your child for small group tutoring? When a child is struggling, when they have gaps in their instruction, when they have gaps in their learning, or when they've learned everything and they're bored in class, when they're bored and they don't love learning anymore and they don't want to go because they already know that, can you afford not to seek out private tutoring for your child? When your child is struggling with the classwork, when they can't catch up, when they're having difficulty, when they don't want to go to the classroom because they don't know the work, when they're consistently failing or getting in trouble because they're either playing school or acting out, can you afford not to sign them up for private tutoring? And know that I can't speak for other tutoring companies or other online small group programs, but at Mi Escuelita, we are more than happy to work with families, and we tailor our programs to families' budgets and their schedule. Friends, let me go back really quickly just to give you the points about small group tutoring. Small group tutoring does happen in schools. Absolutely. Teachers are always trying their very best to meet the needs of their 20 plus students. But the reality is it is extremely challenging for it to be consistent. And quality matters. There are other people that are doing implementing small groups in the schools or in community centers, free services. But those free services outside of schools have large groups, have tutors that are underpaid and undertrained. And it's not consistent. They're in and out, or different tutors come at different times. You want to look for a small group tutoring company, a small online company where it's consistent, professional, and they have proven results. And again, when it comes to the cost, you do have to tell yourself, Can you afford not to seek out that support? Friends, thank you so much for joining me in today's live. I do have 3 spots available for next week to meet with families to create a student success plan. I am going to put the link down below this video. So if you are ready to start working on a success plan for your child, just in time for summer, please book a call with us. I hope you are having a beautiful Thursday. Hi, Beto. Thank you for joining us. And the replay will be available in our group in a short minute. Bye, everyone.